tried to work on the basis of a righteous coalition, and he underestimated the position of Mr. Wałęsa. All political parties, if they reflect the interests of the people, have a right to exist. The General Assembly of the UN canceled its decision of 1975, according to which Zionism is a form of racism and racial discrimination. It, at the same time, condemned Israel for occupying these territories. There were 111 countries who voted for, 25 against, and 13 countries abstained. Mutual accusations were heard in the Palestinian or Arab-Israeli negotiations in Washington. The representatives of Pakistan and Palestine remained in the corridors. The Palestinians insist they want to meet independently with the Israelis and not together with Jordan, and Israel is categorically opposed.
Meeting this up.
This is shooting taking place between Croatian units and the Yugoslav army in Slovenia and Croatia. There was a bombing of columns of refugees in the area of the city of Pakrac. The European community is prepared to recognize the republics of the Yugoslavia. This was stated by Hans van der Broek. The decision will be made in January, and the republics which wish to secede may be recognized if they agree to observe human rights. In these days, in Moscow, the General Secretary of Interpol, Raymond Kendall, is being a guest, and Mr. Kendall gave a press conference. He said that the idea of Interpol being a collection of James Bonds, he said that was very flattering, but the truth was that Interpol worked more with computers than with guns. They tried to coordinate police activities, which had to do with international operations. There are 54 countries. The Soviet Union joined a year ago. There have been 6,000 reports sent through the offices with regard to Soviet crime in the Soviet Union and abroad, has to do with narcotics and stolen cars. How true is it? How true are the reports about Soviet mafias operating abroad? Mr. Kendall said that this was exaggerated. Our documents do not support this version, but we have to be prepared so as not to be caught off guard. Only Lithuania has thus far joined Interpol, but this is open, this membership, to any who wish to join. In the meantime, the Interpol would continue to collaborate with the Soviet Ministry of Internal Affairs. Now, cultural life. In the Tchaikovsky Hall, there was a presentation of the Russian Chopin Society, which links together professionals and simply admirers of this brilliant composer, who was called the Polish Mozart. In Russia, Chopin's music was known during Chopin's life. All of us listening to this music recreates the magic of Chopin for himself. So the society wishes to study the heritage of the composer, and there will be a first competition of young pianists in St. Petersburg. The International Orchestra, directed by Claudia Abada, has completed its tour. This is in St. Petersburg. They're very pleased with the young musicians from many countries. They have fulfilled their mission, and I am very happy that our young people were able to express their feelings through music. And here we have the sports coming up. This is John Glad providing simultaneous interpretation from the Russian. Good evening. The latest political events have to do with sport, and that includes soccer. We've heard from the international soccer offices that Italy and Denmark have been confirmed as backups should the USSR and Yugoslavia on the 16th of January not be able to represent their countries. But if the Italians want to become third, they still have to win against Cyprus at the last match. Today in Moscow and Novosibirsk, we saw the men's volleyball teams. The country is getting ready for the Winter Olympics in Barcelona. Riga's Radiotechnik team beat Minsk's Army team 3-0. In Moscow, the Dynamo team played against Moscow Tech. Moscow Tech is in white uniforms. It was a difficult situation for both teams, since both teams had lost players abroad who went abroad to play. At first, Dynamo was winning, but then the students got the upper hand, and they won in 4 games. The main thing, of course, this is the chief trainer of the USSR team. Since the core of these teams has been preserved, it seems to me that the Olympic year, nevertheless, will have new names, and we'll be glad to see new players. I'm happy to see that all of the teams are participating, and even all of the republics who have split off, regardless of state belonging. All the republics are prepared to play in the USSR team in Barcelona. In faraway sunny Australia, we see a sailing competition in the class 471. The Soviet team, Dmitry Beryoskin, Dmitry Bormatnov are winning. Here we have the slalom competition taking place in Italy. The 22-year-old Christian Jagg from Norway was competing. The 30,000 Italians wanted to see Alberto Tombe win, but the Norwegian skier won their hearts and was ahead by 9/100th of a second. In spite of this, Mr. Tombe continues to lead in the total number of scores, being 56 points ahead. And here he's coming in fifth. This is Mr. Jagg coming in fifth, or first, that is. And this is the weather coming up. Remember, temperatures are in Celsius, where freezing is 0. Murmansk gets -3 to +2. In the Arkhangelsk region is -3 to -8, a little bit of snow. In Karelia, -3 to +2. In the Baltic states, we have Estonia 0, Latvia 1 +3, Lithuania +2 to +7. In Belarusia, now called Belarus, is +1 to -4. Some small precipitation. Ukraine 0 to -5. In the Northern Caucasus, -4 to +2. Armenia -2 to -7. In the Ararat region, Radav Valley -2 to +5. In Azerbaijan, +6 to +11. And in the central regions of Russia, it's 0 to -5. In St. Petersburg, -3 to -5. A little bit of snow. In Moscow, it's -3 to -8 in the evening, and at night and daytime, -1 to -3. Simultaneous interpretation from the Russian by John Glad. You've been listening to the Informational Television Agency. Good night.